Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Willam Green, who's CFO, and by Martin Surzyn, who's Head of Investor Relations at Team Internet. How are you today, gents?
Good morning.
Hi there.
Initially, I thought your company was a new one, but then I realized that you used to be Central Nick. Maybe you could just quickly run through that for people who are Central Nick followers like myself since 2013.
Yes, certainly. So since its IPO in September 2013, Central Nick Group operated initially in the domain name procurement and distribution space, but also started to pivot additionally into the online marketing, the ad tech space since 2019. So on the 10th anniversary of the company's IPO, we rebranded the group from the name Central Nick, which is still super relevant, to our domain name procurement and distribution business, which we refer to as online presence. We rebranded to the broader name Team Internet Group, which is more reflective of all the different component parts of the group, both the domain name part of the group and also the larger online marketing sector.
Okay, so you've just announced your audited annual report for 2023, which obviously delivers some, or logically will lead to some questions. The first one is, what is driving the continued strong growth in the business?
Well, the continued strong growth in the business across both the segments in which we operate is driven by a combination of some irresistible market trends, which we've identified and we give quite a lot of detail on in our investor deck. And we won't have too much time today, unfortunately, to go through those in total. But there are what we refer to as mega trends affecting both the online presence and the online marketing industry that enable any company in the industry to foresee some quite favourable market conditions ahead. Plus, as well, there are specific reasons why we are well positioned and we have the platforms, the expertise to take advantage of those trends. Just to call out one of the areas in which we're able to differentiate ourselves from our peers and our business partners is that we have taken advantage of the growing trend towards data privacy across a number of different platforms. Whilst that's a problem for some companies in the ad tech, the online marketing ecosystem, and forms of advertising which were reliant on freedom of customer data, so therefore they've been impacted negatively by improvements to data privacy over the last several years, because we have never relied on third-party cookies in any of our business models, and because we already had a very high bar internally in terms of data privacy. We've found that over the years, as data privacy has been tightened up on by many of our business partners, that's actually been an advantage to us and meant we're able to take even more advantage of favourable market conditions. So that then converts very strongly to much higher volumes of traffic, consumers, eyeballs, whatever you want to call it, much higher volumes of traffic that we're able to take from various forms of social media and other media and deliver them into the search ecosystem, which is how we monetize our traffic.
So you not only had first mover advantage, obviously been going a long time, but you're also ahead of the curve and being compliant in terms of where we've headed today.
Yes, the first mover advantage in some respects, both in online presence and in online marketing, is then allied to our consistently high data quality. The quality of the traffic that we provide is amongst the best advertising traffic that's available, and we very objectively deliver additional value to the advertisers that we provide traffic to, because it's very high converting traffic, and that's why advertisers keep coming back to the platforms in which we operate time and again, year after year.
So you've had quite a sort of a inflection point, as they would say, in terms of the results announced today. Non-adjusted profit after tax has gone from a $2 million loss to a $24 million profit. Could you talk us through that flip that you managed to achieve?
Yes, that's really important to us, and it is absolutely an inflection point. It's not something that happens overnight, but through several successive years since Michael Riedel, the group CEO, and myself started working together in 2019, we've had a mission, a very personal mission, to ensure that as well as the continued and consistent revenue and adjusted EBITDA growth that Central Nick had always achieved successively year on year, that's converted not only into operating profit but also into profit before tax. We crossed the threshold from a loss before tax into profit before tax a couple of years ago, and then finally we are now in a position where we deliver a bottom line profit after tax, and not just a moderate break even level of profit, but a $24.3 million profit after tax. And naturally, as with any listed group, when you have a year when you're successful in achieving a financial metric, your challenge and your goal is then to go again and achieve even better in the future years. So the personal challenge that I have as a finance leader here, and that we as a finance team and as an organization generally, is that we then grow that profit level from 24 million for 23 to higher levels in 24 and beyond. So it's a pleasure now to be a really truly profitable organization on all levels of the P&L, and that very objectively delivers shareholder value. But it's not something we're complacent about. We need to continue to work hard to manage not only the revenue growth but also the cost base, so that can be a very sustainable level of profits to deliver, and we can then be even more confident to continue to declare ever high dividends and return cash to shareholders.
And speaking of the cash to shareholders, 100% increase in the dividend, obviously in line with that policy.
Yes, we've been very confident to double the level of dividends. The Central Nick, as we were called up until September of last year, was not historically a payer of dividends. We declared the group's inaugural dividend this time last year and paid it out in Q2 last year of a penny per share. We announced at the time that was the launch of a progressive dividend policy, and we're following through on that by ensuring that progressive dividend policy isn't for us just a soundbite. The fact that we're doubling the dividend to 2 pence per share, and one can then anticipate further increases in the dividend in future, indicates that we want to be recognised as not only a growth stock but also as a value stock that is able to generate and successfully cover and pay ever high levels of dividend.
And I suppose all of this is happening, including the sort of the share buyback, dividend, etc., and the profit turnaround, with the company still on a very low PE for 2023.
Yes, absolutely. Whilst it's not really our place to point out undervaluation or where we feel the share should be at a higher value, I'm hopeful that quite objectively people will look at the PE and say that there is much more to come from Team Internet. So that's a particular metric in which we're keen to see progress over the next several years, and to ensure that our value is more reflective of the fantastically strong earnings growth that we've experienced over the last several years. We've been extremely successful in growing revenue and profitability over the last several years.
And just finishing off with Martin, there's been a lot of changes, and even somebody who was familiar with the company as I was for many years probably hasn't kept up or didn't see some of the changes there. I take it you'll be focusing on spreading the message and providing the new message of who you are, what your name is, and what your position is at the moment.
Yes, exactly. So I've joined Team Internet's investor relations team, and we're very excited to talk about the growth that we've experienced in our online marketing business, which at the moment represents about 2/3 of the revenue we generate. And as Billy has pointed out, it's greatly supported by the emergence of mega trends that continue to support business growth. And we look forward to speaking with investors and telling them a bit more about Team Internet.
Well, I look forward to speaking to both of you and more in future, having spoken to you for the first time today. In the meantime, Willam Green and Martin Surzyn from Team Internet, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.